majors. I'm not super savvy in arts and vocations and stuff, but I think that you might get something from this. So you'll notice some differences between the classes that you have here and classes at the big school, so to speak. So the difficulty is going to be amped up on everything. Like if you imagine the hardest class that you took here, it's going to be pretty much average to what you'll be getting at the university level. Even freshman classes, I was blown away by what they consider a 1,000 level freshman class. So you got to really be ready. It's not all as much fun and game as you think it is. But on that note, you got to be ready to deal with some people who don't, I guess, care about you as much as some of the folks here do. You don't have people like Mr. Berger kicking your butt around if you screw something up. You got to be ready to take charge and really be accountable for your own actions, for your own homework, for your own anything. Because they're there to make a buck off of you, and they don't necessarily care about you as much as people here do. So enjoy people following you around and getting mad at you or praising you what you can here before you jump into an even bigger pond in the near future. On that note, a lot of you guys are either adults or be considered legally adults very soon, so you're going to be faced with a lot of adult issues, and you're going to be treated like an adult from here on out. That includes money. Money's going to be very important to you now that you don't have your parents as much to help you out. You're going to be needing a job. Anytime you get into trouble with the law or tax things, all those kind of stuff is all going to be dropped at your feet in a hurry. I mean, as soon as you're 18, it's like that. You're just an adult. So this camp is a good place to get your feet wet with that kind of stuff if you've never dealt with some of these adult issues before. And just keep in mind that you will be treated by an adult in the eyes of the law from now on. And remember, those federal loans won't come if you have a felony or something, so definitely be careful. But I definitely do it again. I do it for these couple of years again. It's fun. I recommend living on campus. I live in an apartment because it's cheaper. You're going to get some huge loans coming your way if you aren't blessed with a wealthy family or something. You get some great grants or scholarships right now. So definitely get cracking on those. But I definitely recommend living on campus, at least for your first year. They might make you to get some experiences. You'll be guaranteed to make friends, join some clubs, network with the teachers, like after class, walk right up there and start talking to them. I've done that to almost every professor I've had, and it's just very helpful when they know you and they put your face to a name. It's invaluable to walk right up there, because otherwise you can be in class with 100-200 people and they'll never know who you are. You can just never talk to them the whole semester. You can just sit in a big lecture hall, walk in and out, eat lunch in the back. They'll never know who you are, what you did. So you gotta be kind of forward meeting people. And if you are getting into a STEM field, like I am, you probably look at getting into research right now. It's very helpful. Getting to know the professors and getting to know your field really well. Because universities are where the cutting edge of research takes place. And they have tons of money, they have grant money, at the years. So all kinds of cutting edge stuff going in there. And you can actually hands-on have a chance to get yourself immersed in that cutting edge stuff. So definitely know your professors, ask them about any kind of labs they might have or any personal work. You could even end up working with them. You never know. So get to know them, make yourself more personal, watch out for yourself. And if you do, the same thing kind of goes if you do get a job. I have an internship at a local laboratory, Omega Labs in Mogador, and don't be afraid to know your coworkers, your bosses. I mean, they did the same thing as you a lot of times. I mean, the owner of the company actually was a science teacher, was into that field. So one of his students works for him right now, right upstairs, taking the big bucks upstairs. So I recommend getting to know your teachers, anybody you work for, and just keeping yourself out of trouble. And if you have any more specific questions about health fields or becoming a physician, I don't know that much about nursing per se, but if you have any questions about becoming like an MD or DO, definitely come to me personally or ask me in the panel afterwards, and I'd like to feel those questions, field them, that would be great. So I'll stop yapping, actually. You can ask me what you want to later afterwards.
As of 2 days ago, I am a senior at Alumni University. Yes, I finished the last semester with one credit away from being a senior, and it really irritated me, so I didn't take some classes. Malone, I like Malone, I commute, so I don't think I have the full experience as they has, but it's fun. Early college, I really thought prepared me completely to go to college. I heard from other alumni before me that it did not, and I didn't think that they knew what they were talking about, but it really doesn't prepare you. Still here, they give you a lot of independence, but they're like completely, I don't want to say alone, but that's the reality of things. Like Zach said, they care about you, but they don't like care because here we're all family. So I do want you all to just be prepared for that. I cannot stress enough to make sure you speak with your academic advisor. I spoke with my academic advisor once my first semester and found out that I took 2 extra classes that I didn't even have to take. And I was also struggling in one of my courses, and he actually tutored that course, and it would have helped a lot. So I do want to stress to speak with your academic advisor. They're not going to come to you here. Mr. King and everyone else will come and introduce themselves to you. In college, they will not. You have to go find them. I do agree with Zach when he said, make sure you get a good relationship with your professors. I spoke with one of my professors. Her and I got a really good relationship. She actually offered me a job at one of her offices. She's a clinical psychologist, and I turned it down. But make sure you do get that good relationship because it can go a long way. And they can also help you outside of class what they don't have time to talk about during class. Please make sure while you're in early college you treat every class like it's something a part of your major. Here in early college, like I was on the science track at first. I was taking my psychology class and I just really didn't like it. And I paid attention, I got a good grade, but like I'm never gonna need this, get to college, now that's my major. So but I didn't really pay attention to as much as I should have in my basic class for psychology here. I sort of missed out on, so it was sort of hard to understand things in the upper level classes. So make sure you treat every class here. Make sure you value every class here. Same thing in college, like even general education requirement courses. Me personally, it sounds really bad. If it's a gen ed, I'll try, but I won't like put my all into it. But make sure you do because you still are paying for it, and you will see that everything sort of meshes together. And study groups, please do that. I was always going to study it alone, but it does help when you have a group of people to study with because their insight might not be what everyone else's is, and they could offer something else or easier way to understand things that we're not taught in class. Alone, I got there because I commute. I didn't really know too many people. I went to orientation, but I didn't like really get a relationship with anyone. So I make sure that you join a group. I joined MSU. I'm actually the president of MSU. It's called Conscious Student Union this year. We are pretty much a organization there on campus. We try to just sort of bring all the projects together. It's only like, Malone only has 8% African American students there, and it's even less with everyone else who is underrepresented. So we sort of try to bring everyone together so that they don't feel isolated or alone. It's hard to, you don't really have that connection sometimes when you're in 2 different quadrants. And we also try to educate and inform people, the campus of the different ethnic diversities and bring issues of diversity to the campus so that we can sort of start that conversation so it doesn't feel awkward with 2 different cultures interacting. MSU sort of also eases the trip. It's sort of like, I felt like early college was like a really close-knit family. We go on trips, we went to DC, it was all paid for, we paid for nothing. We just took food, sorry, took money if you wanted to like buy extra food or go shopping, but they even paid for us to have free meals. So we do that. So if you just come and join MSU, we'll get that, get you guys get that. If you join MSU, you will be assigned a mentor. They're usually the people who are excelling really well on the campus, athletes or athletes who are excelling well. They try to pair you with someone who is in your field or close to your field, sort of like him. And you meet with them once a week, and they just give you advice and help you get similar on campus. But if you stay at Alumni for a year and you become a mentor, then they actually pay you $500 a semester, and they'll help you pay for books just for hanging out with someone and sort of just being in the program. So I really recommend you guys get into that. Just do decide to come along. I think Matt has something to say with that too. Their BSU, they have their own. I don't really know what else we're supposed to say, but if you have any questions, just free to ask.
All right, since Justine sold along a little bit, I'm gonna sell Valparaiso a little bit later, but it says Eric, don't call me that, call me EJ. I'm EJ. Like I said, I'm from Valparaiso University. First, I'm gonna say some stuff to the people who raised your hand who are gonna be juniors and seniors. I know most of you have probably taken your ACT by now. My first piece of advice for that is whatever your ACT score is, it's not good enough. I fell into the trap of thinking that my score was okay, and so I didn't study as hard as I should have for it. Study it, take it again. It's the biggest thing that I can say to any of you is that your score can always be better. The second thing I have to say is apply to every school that appeals to you. If you find a school that sends you something in the mail, especially that says you have free application to the school, take advantage of that, apply to those schools to see what they offer you. The last thing that I have to say is sell yourself as much as possible during your application process. Make yourself look as good as you can, take every little thing. This is something that I know with the profiles that we do a very good job preparing you with, is taking the things that you've already done and making them look really good and making them look really interesting, and just make it seem like you're better than your competition. As far as school goes, I'm at a school that's pretty far away. I know, unfortunately, I'm not able to come to a lot of these meetings, which I regret. But I love it. I love Valparaiso. It really has become my home. And as far as college is concerned, get involved with and sign up for things if you're the slightest bit interested in it at all. They have career fairs at the beginning of the school year. They have different things that you can come to about the different student organizations. Go sign up for email lists, get more information about it. If you really don't like it and you find out, then unsubscribe from the email list. Don't ever text/call those people again, but see what's out there. Take on responsibility if you can in the organizations that you get involved with at school. Become the president or become the secretary, become the treasurer, become something, because it makes you more invested, it makes you more kind of emotionally and responsibly attached to that, and those organizations can also give you some of your closest friends that you will be in school. As far as friends go, I know a lot of people when they go off to college, they don't know, and they're going into a completely new environment. And that's something I have to do. Not only moving to a different school, moving to a different state, where absolutely nobody that I knew is there. Find friends that not only that you like, obviously, but try and surround yourself with people who have the same goals as you. So find people that want to be successful like you guys. I'm assuming everybody wants to be successful, right? Nobody's going to college thinking, you know what, I want to work at McDonald's and flip burgers when I go. That sounds like fun. So just meet people and interact with people who are going to shoot for the same things as you. Take advantage of all the resources at your school. So my school specifically, we have advisors for everything. We have language advisors for language classes, writing center advisors, academic advisors for each individual school, each individual track that you're on. Take advantage of all that. They're getting paid to interact with you and to help you with whatever you need. The same goes for your teachers. Your teachers will have office hours and will have time to meet with you and speak to you you about your class if there's something you're confused about. Do what it takes to succeed. So study, do your homework, do all of that, get all the things. But also remember to have fun. Don't stress yourself out too much. Get out there, even if you're having fun within some of your extracurriculars, that's awesome. That's a lot of what I do. But have fun with everything at any time that you can. Just go out with your friends, hang out in your dorms, meet new people, try something that's on campus. If the campus is having like a concert or some sort of social, go to them. Don't ignore stuff like that because you need, everybody needs a little bit of stress relief. I don't know. For me personally, I'm very much enjoying college. I enjoyed high school a lot. I mean, how could I not enjoy high school? It's the best high school in the country. But just take advantage of college. Take advantage of the resources you're getting here and the resources that you're going to have when you go to school, and use the tools that you've been given and you're going to get to succeed as best you can. And then if you have questions, I'm sure you'll ask me. That's all I have.
Oh, that'll be helpful. Hello, my name's Megan Montgomery. I've been asked to center my comments on the job workplace, but since everybody else is talking about school, I feel a need to talk about my school. Because I go to New York University in the city of New York, which is in downtown Manhattan. I have to, which is really cool. So if you have any questions about that, just ask me. And I think there's a lot that school is very important for the workplace. What you learn in school, you can apply to it. And so I just want to say a little bit about that before I move on to my experiences working in connection with camp. First of all, if you're not planning on taking a language in college, take a language in college. It automatically makes you more attractive in the workplace. And if you take a critical language, it automatically makes you more attractive. Because a critical language is something that the United States government is hiring more people who are not U.S. citizens to translate in that language than they are hiring U.S. citizens. So if you are interested in that, there is a program called the Foreign Language Academy through Star Talk that Kent State University does. And it is a free program. I think this year they only did Mandarin and Russian. But if you are interested in that, contact me. I took Arabic in that. I did not think I wanted to learn Arabic. I thought I wanted to learn Hebrew. I am now double majoring in linguistics in Middle Eastern Islamic studies, where I am studying Arabic. So it can change your life. So ask me about it if you have questions. Also, I'm not saying that Arabic language professors are the best foreign language professors that a university can have. All I am saying is that my Arabic professor was my favorite professor. So, take from that what you will. Also, universities will have a career center. So if you're talking to someone and thinking about them being your mentor at university and they are a junior or senior and they've never visited the career center, please find a new mentor. Because you should be going there and you should be updating your resume and you should be doing mock interviews, and they should be instructing you the best way to present yourself at an interview, because even if you're interviewing at maybe a casual dress workplace, you still want to dress up for the interview because that is the first time they are seeing you. So go to the Career Center, become acquainted with the Career Center. Also, I'm almost certain every university will have an organization on campus that somehow interests you. For instance, I just joined a multi-faith council. I did not think it existed, but I was getting information from our Global Spiritual Life Center on campus, and they sent me an email about that, and I'm now involved with that. That makes you more attractive to companies that you work for, because you're not just centering on what you know, you're also learning about what other people know. And especially if it's a global company, that's important, because they do business with people outside of the United States who didn't have the same upbringing as you, didn't have the same faith as you, didn't have the same language, didn't have whatever. So the more cultural experience you can have during college will help you in the workplace. That being said, I worked for Howard Hanna Real Estate. I worked there for over a year, and now this summer I have my internship at Freshmark in the HR department. has little to nothing to do with what I want to do, but it's a great experience because working in HR, you work with a lot of departments, and a lot of the other departments don't necessarily understand what other departments do. But as part of HR, you have to kind of understand what other departments do because you need information from those departments. So any experience is good experience, and you need to communicate when you do that. Because when somebody does not email you back and you have a question, that becomes very frustrating because normally somebody else is asking you a question that you needed that answer for. So I know Mr. Venturella and Mr. Steinbeck and everyone keeps saying communication is very important, and it is very important because it gets very frustrating when someone does not call you back or does not email you back because you need your answer. Write things down. That is very important because apparently I have short-term memory loss. So writing things down is very helpful. Writing things down in one place is also very helpful. I was surprised, however, at Rushmark. It's a very successful company, but they use less technology than I thought they would. And so it's important to learn technology. For instance, I'm just implementing some tricks I know into Excel to make everyone's lives easier that they hadn't been implementing before. So it's very important to learn technology because when you get there, you can do things and figure out that something somebody had spent hours doing every year is something that can take them 10 minutes every year by just putting in a code into Excel. And that's my comments for now. If you have questions, please ask me, and I love you.
I'm Olivia, and I go to Stark State for dental assisting. I have one more semester left, and then I'll be into my job field. Right now, I work at Habitat for Humanity Restore, and I've been there for a year. And it's helped me, although it doesn't relate to my job, it has helped me because it helps me to have more people skills and communicate with customers that come in, because there's been a few customers that come in and I'll tell them what I'm going to school for, and they'll be like, oh, well, I know a dentist who might be hiring, and if you ever need something, go ahead and ask me, because they come in all the time. So it helps me with getting to know my customers better, and when you work in the dental field, you have the same people that come in your office every once in a while, so if you have a good connection with them, then that'll help you know what they like and what they don't like and how they like their services performed. Communication is definitely key in any business because if you don't communicate, then you don't know what's going to be done. For example, at my job, we have a lot of furniture that comes in and goes out, so you have to communicate what's coming in, what's going out, who it's going to. If it's already been picked up, like I have to call people and say, did you come pick this up or not? Because I don't always get slips back to take out of my file folder. Because of Fred. At school, I have, it's important to talk to your professors because most of your professors teach me are in their field. So all my dental assisting professors still work at a dentist's office. So that would help me get connections at another dentist's office. And if you can, go out and experience what you're going to school for. Because last semester I had to do so many observation hours and I got offered a job through a dentist's office, but I turned it down. But they're still keeping my resume, so if I ever want to go back to the office, I probably have a better chance of getting hired than somebody that has never been there. So stay connected with people you meet. I think that's all I have to say.
Okay, so I'm Hannah Montgomery. I go to Baldwin Wallace University as a physics pre-engineering major, but that was just like a week ago that I declared that. Before that I was undeclared, so yay. I think I kind of had a different experience going into college than most people on the panel. If I'm wrong, they'll correct me, but I didn't really want to go to college. It is not that I didn't want to be successful, and it's not that I didn't want to get a degree or anything. I just really didn't want to have to study more. And that's all I was really focused on. And then I kind of shut down socially when I went to college because I went on a retreat and they had me camping, and I don't like to camp. And I met a lot of really weird people who like to camp. And so I wasn't too excited about anything socially that was going to go on in college. So I was really ignoring when people told me I needed to join groups. My academic advisors kept telling me, you know, you need to join groups, join 2 or 3 groups so you can meet a lot of people. And I don't particularly like to meet people. So there was that. But towards my second semester, I started to realize I need to talk to more people than just the 2 friends I met from this one group I did join, and my roommate and a couple other people. I don't need a big friend group, it's fine. And so I started to be involved in more and more, and I really wish I would have probably not gone on that camping trip, so I would have been, I don't mean this, I mean it pretty seriously, but I wish I would have been shut down, and I wish I would have been more open to meeting people. Because I really enjoyed high school, and I was like, college wasn't going to be as great as high school was. But it's kind of shaping to be that way, and I kind of wish I had realized that going into my freshman year. Also, watch what you spend online shopping. No one's kind of mentioned it, but it was a really big issue for me because I go to school in Berea. If you hadn't heard of it, you're not alone. It's where the Cleveland Browns train, and that's kind of what they're known for. It's Baldwin Wallace and the Cleveland Browns train, and you can drive out of it in 10 minutes. So I did a lot of online shopping because I don't have a license, and I spent a lot of money that I should not have spent, so really watch that. I didn't expect that to be a problem, but it was. My roommates were nice, so that wasn't really an issue. I got to talk to them before I went to school, so make sure you do that though. It's a little weird. You're kind of, who's going to send a message first? Like, am I going to email them first? Are they going to email me? Be the first one to do that. They might not even know your roommates yet. They might not have even checked. So the faster you get going, the better, because it was like the week before, and we're like, who's bringing a microwave? Who's bringing a refrigerator? Who's bringing a TV? So to get that all taken care of ahead of time. And work opportunities, my school recommends that you don't do more than 10 hours. If you do on campus, they will not let you work more than 10 hours. I had friends who worked about 20, and that was really their limit. If they worked more than 20, they were really struggling. And make sure you really expose yourself to more Excel. I know we took that Microsoft Word, Excel, all that stuff. But especially if you're going into something like engineering, they're going to really expect you to know a lot of like tricks that I had to research ahead of time so I would know what they were talking about. And it also really impresses people, like in my internship, they didn't know you could filter by color. I knew that because I like to add color to my Excel documents. So they were like really impressed with that. And so that helps your brand, the brand of you.
Alright, hi guys, I guess I'm last. I'm Matthew Kinlow, if anyone doesn't know that. So BJ, this is weird, I kind of feel like we're back in high school. I go to Ohio University. I love it. It was pretty much the opposite of Hannah. I could not wait to leave Canton, Ohio and go somewhere else. And get out of here. I am a pre-med chemistry major. I am double minoring in both African American studies and biological sciences, and I have a diversity certificate as well. So first I'm going to talk to you about campus involvement. As everyone said, campus involvement is a huge deal. As soon as you get to your campus, we have involvement fair where there's booths around. I think most colleges do that, and or most universities. And you basically go around, walk around, and see what you're interested in. I immediately gravitated towards of course, a pre-med organization, but then you want to have some orgs that are just for fun or socializing. So, also time management. So this is, I guess, a different take on time management. It's very important to have fun, like EJ said. I put together a system that works for me. At 5 o'clock on Friday, I'm done doing anything that has to do with school, and my weekends are for me. They're for whatever I want to do, how I want to spend my weekends, that's what I do. If I want to have a Netflix day and just chill and watch House all day, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to sit in my bed and do that. Because I made sure during the week that I could do that. I made sure that all of my responsibilities were taken care of. I made sure that my work that was going to be due on Monday was done ahead of time, so that I could enjoy a stress-free weekend. Also, keep track of everything. You're going to be hopefully you'll be involved, and hopefully you'll be making a name for yourself on campus. So keep track of what you're doing. It's really easy to volunteer for a few hours somewhere and forget that you have volunteered. Make sure you have a file or something where you're recording all those type of things. These are all things that we learned in early college. Thanks, Mr. Bruner, service learning. Woo! I want to talk to you primarily though about traveling. So it's a big deal, and I don't know, I guess some of you guys know, I just got back from a month-long trip in Africa where I was able to do some work in hospitals in Botswana and really just get a feel for global healthcare and healthcare in another country, in another setting. And it's a strange feeling being on a continent where you know no one on the continent. And but I think it's definitely, I wouldn't call myself a shy person, but it's definitely made me bolder. When people in Botswana, the country I was in, there are two official languages, English and Setswana. But lower class, lower income individuals don't necessarily speak English very well. So at times it was difficult. You have to really put yourself out there. If I'm in a cab and the cab driver doesn't speak English, and I need to figure out how much I'm supposed to pay you, there are skills that you develop there. There are skills that you develop from traveling abroad. So Justine earlier mentioned an organization I'm in at Ohio University. One of them is SAGE. It's Students Advocating for Global Experiences. And I am head of the Multicultural Student Access Committee. And we're working right now to see if there's any way that we can partner with early college. This is in the beginning stages to try and get you guys some travel experience before you even go off to the university, perhaps in the summer, even domestically, going to another state and being there for 2 weeks, things like that. So definitely keep your eye out for those type of experiences. Scholarships are everywhere. Keep your eye out for those. Never deny an opportunity. Apply. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know, are we opening up for questions?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions for anyone? And if so, for who, I guess?
I saw you first.
About the bill and everything. So, how are you all doing with it? Like, I don't know if you guys are, if any, how long or whatever, or like how, because the fact that I'm gonna have to pay that back is like really irritating me. Like, you guys just like not worried about it? Like, are you guys thinking about it?
Can we repeat the question?
Okay, our question is about loans and if we're worried about them. every time I go to pay the bursar bill, and my sister, one of my elder sisters, she likes to talk about financial aid every time she's home, and I actually have to physically leave the room because I have such an anxiety attack. It's a lot of money, yes. The good news is that if you are able to pay it all with federal loans, that is going to be the lowest interest rate you will ever get on a loan, ever again. So that's a nice aspect of it. And so, yeah, FAFSA, did you fill out the FAFSA? Okay, good. Okay, somebody else can talk now because I'm having an anxiety attack.
Hopefully your parents or like someone in your life will be able to help you with this. My mom helps me with this a lot, and I do take care of a lot of it myself too. Like you have to sign for the loans yourself. You are gonna have to do that. That's a scary feeling. The school will also have financial advisors. There are people there for that. You can talk to them about your payment plan. You can talk to them about how much you owe, about everything like that as far as loans are concerned. Also, make sure you're paying attention to which is subsidized and unsubsidized. Make sure you're paying attention to that because some you're going to have to start paying on right when you start school, and others you'll have to start paying after you leave school, which is really nice because it means interest isn't collected. So my best advice for you is just to take care of it early. Make sure that you're on top of it before you get to school. Meet with your financial advisor as soon as you get to school, and just get all that in line. Keep a record of it somewhere, and you'll be able to manage it pretty easily.
And just a note on I forget which one it is, unsubsidized or subsidized, the one that collects interest as soon as you take it out. But which one? Unsubsidized. So try to pay that interest monthly if you can. I used the fund I had from my summer internship. I just kind of put it aside and I paid it monthly because otherwise the interest will grow on the interest, and then you owe a lot more money than what you originally took out.
Okay, quickly. Also, don't fall into the trap of that refund check. Everyone wants a refund check, and yeah, a refund is great. But some people take it to another level where you're taking out loans that you don't necessarily need for school, and in order to have money to buy a new car and that's easy to get trapped in. That's easy to get trapped into because it's tempting because you're going to struggle a little bit probably in college, and you're going to be eating a lot of ramen noodles, and you're going to want to go out to eat. And if you have that reserve, you can do that. So please don't do that. If you need extra money, okay, legitimately for books or something like that, then take it from you. But taking an extra $5,000–$10,000 on top of what you need for school, no, don't. Please.
Are there a lot of students that are doing that, taking extra money to buy?
Somebody
Everybody.
bought a house with their student loans. I don't know them personally, but they bought a house.
Yeah. So,
15%.
I have a nephew who I think it's 5.5 years to graduate. His debt is 6 figures, and he's a teacher. And he loves teaching, and it's a wonderful profession. My nephew's that's a bad combination. I mean, his chance of paying those loans off, he just had a baby, a family, and just not smart decisions to do. So you really got to think about those things, all right? And some debt is okay. Some debt is okay, and it's okay to have. And I would look at it another way too. And Mr. DiPietro will be glad to talk to you about it, and Mr. Sabodia. But building good credit, we talked about that. I think we had you guys look up your credit scores and stuff. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good. So if you have an advantage, like Daniel Tessau does, he's done a wonderful job in his scholarships. He has very, very minimal amount of money to pay because he's done such a wonderful job. We're recommending to him that he does take out a small loan to establish a good credit rating. So he's got a great situation. And you have to take advantage. This seminar we're talking about in September, for all of you going to be seniors, juniors, sophomores, you got to get this process started early. I remember walking into Early College High School 2 years ago, and some students hadn't filled out anything in February and March. Well, guess what? All those scholarship dollars are gone, and you need to get on it. If you're a senior and you're not working on that now in September and October, you are going to be in trouble. Well, not that you're going to be in trouble. It's going to cost you more money, and it's going to cost you big debt. So I would get all over it now. Somebody else, Kelsey?
Okay, I have 2 questions. One is about the financial part and then one is not. I guess like, you said like, you pay your stuff like by yourself, like you pay the debt by yourself or whatever?
I'm gonna have to. My mom made it very clear that she was not gonna.
How do you do that? Because like, I have a job or whatever, but it's not gonna help like pay my debt right now, like at all.
Like Mr. Venturella said, it's okay to have some debt. I was very lucky with scholarships and grants and things to where I ended up with loans. I'm not paying out of pocket for school, so that's just something that I've been blessed with. But I'm gonna graduate with about $25,000 in debt, just from the loans I'm taking from the government, stuff like that. That's a little bit compared to a lot of people these days. So I know I'm making plans right now that I have planned out that when I graduate, when I start working in the business world, that I'm gonna just save. I'm gonna keep living like a college student, save as much money as I can, just pay those off as fast as possible. You just gotta accept that you're gonna have some debt, like Mr. Venturella said. You're gonna have some, but as long as it's the subsidized loans, you're not gonna have to worry about it until after school. And if you're smart with your money and you get a good job, you can pay it off, and it won't be scary.
I just wanted to say the same thing as EJ. Jada and I were actually just having this conversation about scholarships. Mr. Bruner was really on top of us about filling out scholarships, and I did not apply to as many as I should have just because I simply didn't feel like it. So make sure you do that, because certainly, like Daniel, they give them out. Still, like I still apply to the FAFSA scholarships. They're more so for you guys, but they still do give out scholarships for people already in school. And like EJ took out the subsidized one. When I took out the subsidized zone, it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. In the long term, I have an entire separate a bank account or at my credit union. I put $50 a month in it for my paycheck, just $50 a month. So then by the time I'm done with school, I should have a couple $1,000 to hopefully pay that off. So if you can right now, just start saving in a credit union, not like at home, because it's more tempting to touch. So.
I have a question. Okay, I think one of my memory twins said like contact your roommate or whatever. And I've tried to contact her or whatever, and she does not reply. So I don't know what to do, like, because I want to know if she's gonna bring something, if I should bring something. So I don't know what to do.
How have you like email?
I try to look her up on Facebook. She doesn't have a Facebook. And then I sent her a message on like on our university thing, our email thing, and she hasn't responded. So like I don't know what to do. Okay.
That's an option until like the second week of school, you can get a new roommate. Wow. Did they give you a phone number? I remember mine was really weird. Like when I got my roommate assignment, I had their home address and their phone number. Like it was a lot of information. I just found mine on Facebook, but
Yeah, no, it just says her name, and then like it says send message. I sent her a message or whatever, but they didn't give a phone number or anything.
Advisor?
there might be a department about that at your school that you might be able to contact.
Yeah, the resident
They sound like
advisor.
they don't want to be contacted. So maybe just kind of prepare, get the essential refrigerator by yourself.
I'm going to, Sarah wants to input something, but also, the reason we press you so hard on careers, the reason we are adamant on it is because that planning will also help you with the financial planning. So you don't get into a situation where you want a job in education and you're going to take on $100,000 in debt, and it's going to take you 20 years to pay that off. When we have you look up jobs and you look at starting salaries and you look at wages and you look at career paths, that's why we're pressing you so hard. Several of these individuals are in jobs that upon graduation pay them $60,000 a year. So those fields, I mean, that's something you have to consider. It's something to say, okay, I'm going for engineering. Engineering jobs start upon graduation between $60,000 and $65,000 a year. I can take on X amount of debt, and that has to work into your formula. Okay? If you're going for nursing, you need to know what those pay scales are. You need to take that into consideration. So that's why we're pushing you so hard. That's why we're pushing you so hard to think about those things.
Hey, Mr. V, Zach had a comment he was going to make at the end of dealing with financial aid or scholarship or something like that, I thought.
I was going to point, like, some of the, I just want to add one more thing about money. You are going to, the way America works, I don't think it's really a global thing. I think it's very American recently, the fact that it's almost normal to take out such huge loans and have such a high cost of school. You don't really see that anywhere else, but it's kind of considered normal to take out huge amounts of money like that. And it almost won't even seem real until the first payment you have to start making back. So you have to keep in mind that money will have to be paid back. They'll definitely come after you. You can't even get a bankruptcy to get out of it. There's no way out of, well, very few ways out of paying that. And as soon as you have to be careful that you don't drop below, I think if you drop below full-time, maybe if you drop below part-time, but you might have to start paying those loans back even during school. So be very careful if you're treading water not to enter a repayment for those kind of things, because the payments can be easily hundreds of dollars a month. So just be careful with that. The money is definitely real, so be careful.
Hi, and just with the roommate, I'm going to be an RA next year, and so residential housing is always the first line of people that are going to connect you to the university, and so your RA and residential housing will be the people who will have the quickest and easiest connection to your room.
May I just add something that's sort of financial? When you're paying for books, when you go and you go online to look for books, make sure you check Amazon first. I paid $300 for a brand new book that Malone sold that was on Amazon for $60, brand new. Please go on Amazon first before you purchase it from the university.
Who else got questions?
I know Matt's going to OU, so I want to ask him this specifically. I know a few others touched on this, but I wanted to ask about the responsibilities that are like implied but not known when you go to college. Like, how do you, where do you have to like draw lines, and when do you have to like make those hard choices, and how do you make them right? I don't know how to word this right. Just tell me about the responsibilities of going to college.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, church. Go to church, right? First of all, the most important thing is your health. So, you know what I mean? No, seriously, on a serious note, like the most important thing is your health. So, if you choose to drink underage, which I am not encouraging at all, be safe, be careful. I'm just gonna say that first and foremost. But you have to have very firm boundaries for yourself and limits and rules for yourself, and never don't trust yourself too much and don't trust other people too much. And when I say don't trust yourself, I mean don't go out on a school night and say, you know what, I'll be able to handle that. I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. Don't put yourself in those kind of situations. Don't put yourself in a kind of situation where you're gonna be exposed to things that you're not comfortable, that you know that you shouldn't be around, or that you're not comfortable being around. Just don't ever start off that way. I don't know if that answers your question. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know you, but I just want to make sure every university, I'm pretty sure, makes you do alcohol EDU, which I know a lot of friends who put that off and just, they knew the answers, but pay attention a little bit because it's kind of helpful. I mean, most of it you probably know by now. Also, there's one for sexual harassment, which NYU I know implemented halfway through the year. I don't know if every school did it. If you don't do it, please just look it up. I know people, they got themselves in situations and they didn't know what happened. And please, dear God, do not do that to yourself. Be responsible, know what's going on, know what you want, and be assertive if somebody's trying to make you do something. Please take care of yourself, because college can be the best 4 years of your life, but don't ruin it with a bad mistake.
I want to make sure, it's also stressed here in camp, make sure you watch what you put on social networks. There were a couple people at Malone who were drinking underage and decided to, it was really idiotic. They were drinking underage, they had it online, and then they tagged Malone in it, like they wanted to get in trouble. So not only did they get kicked off campus, and they're never allowed to return, they got in trouble with the law. So please, and jobs, look at that stuff. There was someone who was going to get hired at Glenmore, but quick look on Facebook and that ended all of that. So please watch what you put on social networks, not only for your job, but because you're representing yourself, your parents, and God. Please make sure, don't forget that. And camp, and your school.
The side text. Side text.
Floating around.
Just real quick, a couple of really quick things. We have 4 kids, some of which are now graduate school and are coming into their payments. And just so you know, the whole loan thing is such a scary, huge thing. It can be petrifying, but Lexi has negotiated, you can consolidate your payments when you get out, and Lexi has negotiated a payment that is reflective of her employment. So now she has a payment that is made, reflective of what she makes, so it's more manageable. So know that when you come out, consolidation is available, and that there are ways that you can make what you pay more manageable to what you make. And also, and things may have changed, but I was also an RA in college, and when I was an RA, so when you get there, my room and board was paid. So there may be things when you get to school, if you choose something like that if you're an RA and your room and board is paid, that's a big deal. And it's a big deal looking forward on your resume as well. So look to those things once you get to school, and I think they might be able to do.
You mentioned, me and her are roommates, we're going to be. So we're equally terrified about this financial aid situation. And I don't really understand, you mentioned like the refund checks earlier, but I don't really want, like if I have to pay it back, can you send the refund check back? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't want it. If I have to pay it back, just take the money that I'm not going to use back. You know what I'm trying to say? Can you do that?
Yeah, there are ways that you can definitely pay it back, or you can opt to keep it and save it for next semester. There's ways to do that, but before you take out your loans, it'll show up, it's really pretty simple. It'll show up on a screen, and you'll see the financial aid and the grants and scholarships that you have, and you'll see your remaining balance, and then you'll see what you're being offered for loans. It'll be ridiculous amounts that you don't need, and you can select how much you take down to the cents. And you can choose to just cover the cost of being at the school. You can choose to have another $500 or something.
Real quick before EJ says something, but when you do that, make sure, because sometimes they take like a processing fee out, and so I had that problem, so I ended up having to pay a little bit out of pocket because I thought I was taking out the right amount of loans, so I didn't get, too much taken out, because that is taxable if you keep it. But then I had to pay like a little bit extra, which was kind of a stretch for my bank account. So just make sure you're aware of any processing fee.
On top of that, with my school, with some of the loans that I took out, they were set amounts. amounts. So there was one loan that I had to take out that much, or else I couldn't get what I actually needed. So I ended up with a couple extra $100 a semester, and they will just let you either take that off of your bill for the next semester, or you can give it back to them, or you can just contact the government or whoever you're taking the loan through and just give them the money back. That's possible.
Oh, and just for what Megan said about being safe on campus, like learning to be an RA, we have buildings and offices on campus that are designed solely to counsel females and males who experience like sexual assault on campus. And I know like college campuses are like grounds for female empowerment. And I understand you guys are strong and powerful and you make your own decisions, but men like are just physiologically stronger than you. And so when you go out, if you do want to put yourself at least like go out in those scenes, at least take a friend or two and someone you can trust, not just anyone, because we have buildings like some sexual assaults are reported and they're reported across the entire campus, but we have many that go into buildings and they just disappear. They're just names on faces because they're so ashamed of what's happened to them. And I just don't want to see that happen to any of you as you get out in those places.
And I just wanted to mention really quickly, going back to OU. So OU has a slight reputation for being a party school. I know that. We all know that. All the Bobcats know that. But honestly, because of the way alcohol culture is in America, almost every university is a party school. Ohio State, all over. So be careful, be responsible, and keep that in mind when you're choosing a school.
I'm kind of confused on how like work studies, do you actually get paid or does it just go towards your tuition?
Okay, I didn't, some people have a choice. I didn't necessarily have a choice. I worked in an office and I got paid every week, and I basically put in my own hours into their computer system, the software that the university uses, and I could work whenever I wanted to work. And I got a paycheck, and I also got, I think, like $900 on my account as well. So I think it depends on the university, how they choose to handle that. But definitely, if you have work study, take advantage of it and find something in your field, in your area that you're going into, because there are so many opportunities, and that's how you're going to meet. Well, that's how I was able to meet a lot of my professors. I was working with them in their offices and develop a more intimate relationship with them. Not like that.
You mentioned alcohol. What about drugs? What's your comments on drugs?
Drugs?
Yeah.
Stay away from them. Yeah.
My first roommate from this year was someone who used drugs regularly, and he. I say first roommate because he dropped out of school before the first semester was over. So if that's and this was a really smart person. Like, this kid was a genius. He was really good he's better at math than me. His writing was excellent. He was very intelligent, but because of his drug use and the problems that it got him into, he was forced to drop out of school. So if that's any testament, if that's any testament to what they can do, like with the alcohol thing, I know some of them have said, like, be responsible if you're going to do it. With drugs, just don't. That's my, don't say, oh, I'm going to just try it once and see what happens. I'm just going to experience and see what it's like. Just don't do it, because there is no just trying once. There is no just experiencing it. It's a slippery slope and a bad slope all the way down.
People will even take it so far as to use drugs and say that they're for to help you concentrate, things like Adderall and stuff like that. Don't do it. Don't fall into that trap. If you need something to help you concentrate, see a doctor, see a physician, and take what they prescribe. Other than that, it's just not a good idea. It's easy to fall into a trap. People, and again, with the trusting yourself, just when it comes to drugs, don't say I can handle it. It's not going to cut it. Pour your own drinks. Pour your own drinks. If you put your drink down, don't pick it back up. Seriously, go. Just go.
There must be a lot of distractions for studying. Do you have any tips, or do you use different tips, methods? My son went to OU. He studied in the library. He could not do it in his dorm, and he went to the library. Do you guys have any tips for them?
Always find people that you like in your classes and study with them. Having people, because here you have people who hold you accountable. There, those people who hold you accountable. You're gonna have, for me, I have a schedule, and then at 9 o'clock on certain nights, me and my friends would study, whatever. And I know that I'm gonna study at 9 o'clock, because if I don't, I'm letting that person down. So and I don't wanna let that person down, that person doesn't wanna let me down, so we meet in the library or whatever, and we get it done. Also, it's really easy to tell yourself, I can just do it tomorrow. I know for some of you who are bad procrastinators now, it's gonna be even easier to tell yourself that because of the not the free time, but the spaces between your classes, not having classes on Tuesdays, Thursdays, whatever. Don't tell yourself that. Most of your homework is actually only gonna take you 20 minutes. 20 minutes to an hour every night. That's, for certain assignments. And then after all that's done, go and do whatever you want for the rest of the night. But don't fall into that trap of your friends inviting you to go do something and you think, oh, I can just get this out of the way later, because you can't.
Also, there are places on campus where students are paid to help you, but they've taken the class before. So they know the professors, they know the material, they know the assignments, and they're there to help you. So go to, ours is the Academic Resource Center is what they call it. Yeah, sure. And so go there, they can look up your class, they can put you into a study group.
One more thing, read your syllabuses before you start your classes. That was just really quick, because I fell into a really bad trap where I didn't read all my syllabuses. I had 19 credit hours, and then I realized that just with reading, not with homework or studying or writing papers, anything, I had 24 hours of reading a week, and that's a whole day, and that was nearly impossible for me. So make sure that you're looking at your classes beforehand and seeing just how much workload you have on top of the other stuff.
Just to piggyback on what EJ said, please read your syllabi. My 2 summer classes, like I said, make sure you treat your general education requirements like your main course, whatever, your main classes. My two classes I took this summer, I didn't read my syllabi completely, and I finished class on Friday. Thursday, I decided, maybe I should finally read the entire thing and realize I had 2 papers due Friday by midnight. I got them done, but please read your syllabus. I mentioned before, study groups work really well, and a simple email. Communication is everything. A simple email will get you a long way. You can email your professor, they'll email you set up a study group. And with the students outside of class, if they live close, so make sure you do that.
All right, just to harp on the syllabus a little bit more, they do expect you to read that before you get there. I actually had a professor who hit a little thing at the bottom where you read the whole thing and told them that you saw XYZ at the bottom to give you bonus points for getting to the bottom, but they'll have a lot of due dates on there, and they won't write it on the board, they won't do anything. They'll just expect you to know when things are due from day one, and that even includes exams. Sometimes they won't even tell you that there's an exam, but you can just miss it. And there's not makeups or anything like that. So you have to, that is the official contract, so to speak, between you and them is that syllabus. And if they want to change anything from the syllabus, that's on them, but that's the go-to place. And if you do email them about things and something on the syllabus, they're going to be annoyed. And I've seen them make fun of kids for emailing about stuff on the syllabus. So always refer to that first. That's the official thing. Their official statement about stuff.
Make sure you check the email at least 3 times a day. My professors like to send 15 apiece. And what they, well, I get it's They send a lot of emails, like I checked my email this morning, my classes were done on Friday. I checked my email this morning, my professor's like, if you want to rewrite this paper, because I had like a couple of grammatical errors, so you can, I'll give you more credit. And AP at MLA and even Chicago, we don't learn Chicago here. They wanted me to write my paper in Chicago, but I didn't know MLA and AP. If I turned it in one of those, I got zero, no matter how long the paper was, it was just completely wrong. Anyway. Wow. Oh yes, emails. Thank you. My professor sent us the answers to like an entire exam, and people in the class didn't check the email, and they were really confused. So it was an extended response question for the final exams that we didn't go over in class. Please check your email because they know it.
I was just gonna say, I highly suggest having a planner, a physical planner. I also use my iPhone and my computer to put important dates into my calendar. But I suggest having a physical calendar or a planner that you can carry with you throughout the day when events come up and things like that. And go through your syllabus before you even get to college, or if you have your syllabi here. And you're starting out your freshman year, before you even get there, or while you're sitting in your dorm, go through your syllabus and mark down every single date that's in that syllabus on your calendar in your planner, and have specific times. Even I write in a week before an exam that I have an exam next week. So things like that really are important. Just stay on top of things. It's really, really hard to play catch up. So if you go in strong, if you start off strong, you'll be fine. You'll stay ahead of the curve. You guys have more experience than most college freshmen have going in, or juniors, whatever you call yourself. So just be prepared. Be as prepared as you possibly can be.
Also, almost every university is going to have like an angel type system. Professors are not required to use it. So especially if you have to keep a minimum GPA for a program you're in or something, keep track of your own grades. Because if you ask from a professor what your grade is, they're just going to tell you, look at your syllabus, because your syllabus has how they divvy all of your points up. Keep track of every single paper they give you, because if when you get your midterm grades or something, you're like, well, this is off, you can show them that. Do not throw it in the trash can. People have done that, I don't understand it. So make sure you keep track of that.
Okay, so I was taking a music class for some requirement that I never wanted to take, but it was actually kind of cool. And we got to the end of the semester, and I saw my grade, and it was a C. I'm like, there's no way, because I got A's on everything, did all my assignments. I should have an A in this class. And that's important that you're able to know that and be confident in that and fight for your grades. So he told me if I could show him my exam grades that he would change my grade and it would be no problem. So all I had to do was take a picture of my grades, send it to him, and everything was fine. So keep everything. Binders are amazing tools. You don't have to carry them with you around all day. But at the end of the day, when you get home and get back to your room and you have exams and stuff that you got back or anything like that, keep it organized, have it tabbed, have it ready to go. You should know exactly where all of that stuff is at all times.
I just wanted to say a few things about finances. There's a lot of you that I haven't met, but my name is Alec. I graduated 2 years ago. I beg you, juniors and seniors in the room, to take about 30 minutes out of your day and look at your plans long term, how much it's going to cost you to go to each school, and what that program is going to take you once you get out of the school. I had an opportunity to go to 2 schools I narrowed down. One, I would have ended up with about $60,000 in debt, and the other about 12. And ultimately, they both get me to the same place. So definitely want to do that. And I also want to warn you guys from working too much. That was something that I kind of fell into. I didn't keep school as my first priority. I was working about 30 hours a week, and I did not have time to, as much time as I should have allocated for schooling. So I suggest making sure you always prioritize
Thank you, Al. Daniel's got a question. I have one too for the work, for those of you that are working now, and most of you are actually. What do you wish you learned before you started working? What can we do in camp to prepare these students for jobs that you wished you would have known?
I started at Freshmark when I was a junior, so I was able to learn like quite a lot of stuff. The man that I worked for, Mike Portillo, he was fantastic. I don't know if that's Tom, is he still there? Is he still doing do we still have people working under him, like Portillo?
Yes.
Okay, if any of you get the chance to work under that guy, he is awesome. He's really into wrestling and MMA and stuff, but he taught me a lot. He made me wear a white shirt and tie every day, and he told me that was an expectation. But some of the things that I wish I would have known were that we talk about communication a lot, but not only do you need to communicate effectively, but you need to realize that every single person that you're going to interact with wants to communicate in a different way. Responding to emails, text messages, whatever. There are certain people in my department and in my team that I can say hey to in an email, and there are certain people that I have to say hello, Mr. or Mrs. or whatever. Otherwise, I will not get a response. You need to learn the language. Start, of course, with the most formal that you can get, but you need to learn who it's appropriate to speak to in certain ways. Also, know that every single person that's there, especially with you being so young and so cute and impressionable, that people want to meet with you and talk with you and learn about you and teach you things. So something I learned last year in my internship at Goodyear, and something that I'm learning this year, is that if you send an email to someone who's higher up, who's important, saying, I'm interested in your job, I'm interested in this field, I'd like to meet with you and talk with you and ask you some questions about it, they will 9 times out of 10 want to do that. So take advantage of that. And your managers who you're working under, if you say, hey, I'm going to meet with this guy, he's really high up in finance, they'll say, oh, that's great, please go do that, take an hour for lunch, whatever. But don't be afraid to reach out and ask people about that.
I would also hit on communication, and I was a pretty good communicator before going to work, so I was like, I don't really need to worry about this. But the most awkward situations I've run into are when the person sits right next to me and I'm shooting an email across to them. Like, that is so strange to me. There is an appropriate time to get up and talk face-to-face with someone, especially when you're an intern. They really encourage you to get up and like say, hi, I'm Hannah. Apparently you're supposed to use both names, Hannah Montgomery. I just sat in like this seminar thing, and it said no important person ever introduces themselves just by their first name. So that was weird and convicting. But, so always introduce yourself by your first or your last name. Say where you go to school, what department you work in. And they really enjoy that face-to-face, because if you're going to their desk, that means you're working with them and they're doing something that you're working with, and so it's not going to be a waste of their time. So when you get into the workplace, know that you don't always have to send an email, you don't always have to send a little thing over the IM. You can get up and talk with them face-to-face. Like, I wouldn't go to the CEO's office and expect a face-to-face. That would probably be more of an email, but anyone in your department, anyone kind of without a door, I guess, would go to face-to-face when you first meet them.
So, we have 4 individuals at Freshmark. It's my understanding that the CEO has met with each of you. Is that true? So, he knocked on your door, I guess, huh?
Well, yes, because he's our main contact at Freshmark, the CEO, Mr. Craner. And so there was actually a comment I wanted to make about that. I've been fortunate enough, the intern I work with has been interning at Freshmark for about 5 years. And so she had all this advice to me before I went in to talk to Mr. Painter, because I was just going to go in with my little pad and my, what I've been working on the project with, and she's like, well, you might want to print out what you've been doing. She's like, you might want to print out your resume in case he wants that. And so I did that, and lo and behold, I went in because I had a little presentation thing. I just gave it to him. He appreciated that very much. I was able to give him my resume when he asked for it, and then I got back to the room, and her name is Chelsea, and she was like, you know, it's good practice, you know, after you have a meeting with someone, just to send them a thank you note. And so I got on my computer, I wrote a thank you note, read it to her, she said, that sounds perfect, I sent it off, and he made a comment to Mr. Venturella about the professionalism of that. And so, always be professional, especially when it's he's the CEO, so he's pretty important in the company, but anyone you don't know in the company, because you have no idea what they expect of you, what their impressions are of interns, their impressions are of this program, because most people ask, you know, well, how did you get this internship? I said, well, I'm a part of this program. And so every impression should be a good impression.
And just something else, make sure you research the company. So I worked at Timken, and if you're from Canton, you probably heard about the Timken company and everything. And I researched what a bearing was, but I didn't really know what a bearing looked like, and that was kind of awkward when you're like, so what do you know about the company? And I would tell things about how it related to Canton and stuff, but I didn't know what a physical bearing looked like, because even the pictures on Google, they look really weird. Sometimes they're not all bearings, sometimes they're not the bearings Timken makes, so just make sure you know what the company does, so you don't have that little awkward conversation with your boss.
Kind of piggybacking off of what Megan said, always be over-prepared. It's never a bad idea to be over-prepared. And always be overdressed. Well, not always, but I'm not a fan of the whole, have you guys heard of the grout fit? No? It's this thing that college students wear to class. It's basically gray, sweatpants, swimsuit. You never know who you're going to run into, and you never know what kind of impression you're leaving. If you're trying to make connections with professors, I think present yourself the best way you can. Be comfortable, but still present yourself always as a professional, and always be open to any opportunity that might arise.
All right, one more question. Daniel.
Yeah.
Don't grab it
My
to the bottom.
question is, with working and stuff, what would you advise like average working hours should be per week?
How many hours?
How many hours do you work?
Somebody said that about 10 was the
10.
amount of hours to work.
For
They had
For work
somebody-
study, it's 10.
It also depends. It depends on where you work and then also how much hours you have. For me personally, for part of the year, I had absolutely no time for work. I had no time. Every single part of my day was completely full. Weekdays, weekends. This year I'm changing that, but I had a good amount of money saved up for my internship last year. This year's different. I have a job on campus, and I've been looking for a job off campus as well, but I'm still not going to break that 20 hours. Just know your limits and make time for it if you can, but also don't overwhelm yourself.
I have a question for Justin. You're once a nursing major. Do you think working in school is advised?
I was not. When I say nursing major, they get confused because we don't know, but it's alright. I'm a psych major, and it's not as tedious as nursing, but it still is the medical field. It means you can't mess up with anything. Sorry, what was your question?
Well,
Oh my God. like they said, I'm a psych major, but like they said, no more than 20 hours. I tried to do that, and instead of I got so into doing more, I had to realize that wasn't my career, and I cut my credit hours to 12 credit hours is the minimum requirement, so that I could work more. I had a reality check, this is not my career. I need to do 20 hours at the max while I'm in school. And even if I only took 2 summer classes, but I was still I've had overtime the last couple of weeks. in equal two classes, it's still a lot. So make sure, no matter what your major is, especially in nursing or anything in medical, make sure you do these time for that.
I think,
But that may be a question for Nasa.
well, I think the best of all worlds is to get, hopefully you're in some kind of a job that offers you some flexibility of hours. Because I know you have flexed your hours. I know when you're in finals and when you're down to crunch time, you cut your hours way back, like to 10 hours a week, right? And then you flex them back up when you get some relief. Yeah.
As soon as I know the date of finals, I send my, well, I don't really send my email because our offices are assigned to it, but I write down like the days I'm available and the times I'm available with the finals. So make sure you do that. And also, especially when you're, many of you are going to go in as seniors. If you're applying to grad school, make sure that you have enough time so that you can study, so that you can actually get into grad school. Because if you don't leave enough time to study for that test, then you're not.
Yeah. It's life, but it's school life, and there's trade-offs on everything. So there's the work, there's the play, there's the school, and how you prioritize those. There's the extracurricular activities. How you prioritize those will determine a lot. Okay, we have to wrap it up, I think, right? One more. Eric's going to say something, and then Mr. Bruno's going to.
And one thing about college is, I think, relationships. The way I look at at least our school, is the world on a small scale. So if you can develop your skills on building influence there, if you can master them there, it'll be a breeze when you go to develop and get influence when you're older. Because the relationships you build there, those people are going places, but if you can learn how to influence them now, then you'll be able to influence their counterparts and your peers when you get there when you're older.
I'm going to make this short. One, this is going way back about making sure that you check your grades and things like that. We had a person up on this stage right now, and we have somebody that's in the now sophomore class that because they were advocates, they kept track of their grades, and they saw something that was not supposed to be there on the start state grades, they went ahead and got that information, told us about it and stuff because they tracked their grades. One young person went from an F to an A because his name was transposed with another student's, and that grade was transposed like that. So make sure you track your grades and stuff like that. It's powerful. And we have a person up there that can probably tell you a story about how they had one grade that was on their report card, and then it was another. The thing that I wanted to ask was this. It of course speaks to early college. Because we're going through this sort of metamorphosis, we're in the beginning, there was probably anybody in this area that knew about the program 10 years ago up to this point now, where Star State has done a better job of adding courses in that have more worth as you go off to your school. A lot of folks that have, not a lot, but there are a few people that have left this program that have said that there were things that were not of value, or it wasn't the program that it was broadcast to be. I'm still having to take some courses as a freshman. Could you help out with kind of defining that? There are, of course, some classes that you'll have to take as an incoming freshman in college, but as you go through the college experience, a lot of things that you're dealing with or you're taking in early college, it helps you toward the middle part of your career. Could you kind of explain that so that they get a good grasp of that, please?
First, Alumni will take all of your credits, so just keep that in mind, every single one. Second, there are certain classes that are specific for every school. I have classes that I have to take from my school. They're called core classes in a lot of places. I know Kent has a specific one. I'm sure every school has a specific one. Also, for me, because my school is it's a Lutheran school, they're open to all religions and stuff, but it is a Lutheran school, so you have to take one religious studies class, and that's just something that you have to do. It's just a requirement of going to the school. So don't get too bummed out because you have to take certain freshman classes. And also, this is another example where meeting with your academic advisors is a big help, because there were some classes that they weren't going to wipe off my plate because, you know, even though I had them through early college, and I went in and I said, well, this matches perfectly with this. Why doesn't that, why do I have to take this still? And they just wiped it off my schedule.
Wow.
Good job. Okay. It's about 5:02. I thought we were going to end a little bit earlier, but it was such a great conversation. Kept it going. Please, if you have any time, and you want to meet with any members of the operating committee, especially Dr. King, those do, please do. Alumni, terrific job. We are so, so proud of you. Give them a big...
I'm sure most of us will answer questions afterwards if you have anything you didn't want to ask out loud. Specifically with me, if you want to ask about Greek life, I know a lot of people are really nervous about that or don't know what it is. I joined the fraternity this year, and if you have specific questions about that, you can come to me afterwards.
Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead, Nick.
I know we talked a lot about financial aid and it's very scary, but please do not let that discourage you from studying abroad, because there are a lot of study abroad specific scholarships that you can apply for. And so I know a lot of people at my university where study abroad is actually cheaper than staying on campus just because they have that. Also, there are some programs you can be involved in. For instance, I went to Italy this year with a program. I have a friend who went to England with you. Kinlan went to Botswana. I'm going to Ghana in January. So there's a lot of programs that you can become a part of that help you study abroad as well.
Great, thank you. As you can see, it takes a lot of work to manage your life in this next phase, and focus on it, and make sure you understand what's important and what's not important as you move on. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Look this right away.
A lot of